A very good morning to all students and welcome to my channel Edufly JEE-NEET. So previous class we have discussed about Annelida and today we are going to study about Mollusca, phylum Mollusca. Very interesting phylum I am going to discuss with you. I hope, see, I have shown you a very common example, that is octopus. Also snail is included, snail is included in phylum Mollusca. See, I have shown you octopus. I hope, I don't know exactly, I'm not sure how many of you have seen the octopus. Personally, I'll share my video with you. I have the video which I went even this year in Port Blair. So I'll share the video with you how octopus is seen in the marine, I mean the oceans में कैसे दिखते हैं octopus. I'll share small clip or small photo or video whatever I can. I'll share with you. कि अगर आप लोगों ने मेराइन लाइफ देखा है, द मेराइन लाइफ इज़ सो ब्यूटीफुल. इफ़ एनी वन ऑफ यू हैव विजिटेड oceans or glass bottom ride or anything you have seen in the inside the oceans, then you might have seen octopus. It's very beautiful creature. Fine, it's ये ऐसा दिखता है. Fine, I've just shown you the brief rough diagram of octopus just to make you explain. To make you explain, I have made a beautiful diagram of octopus. Fine. So other than octopus, snail is also included in phylum Mollusca. I hope snail, every one of you has seen very famous. से कैसे होता है, मैं ऐसे दिखा देती हूँ. ऐसे करके होते हैं, ठीक है. यहाँ माउथ होता है and a big shape is there. That is hard shell. इसको बोलते हैं hard shell. ऐसे दिखता है snail. It's very common. हर जगह पाया जाता है, जब चाहो वहीं चला आता है. चाहे वो लैंड हो, चाहे वो वाटर हो, everywhere it's found. Snail, very common example. Fine. So let's study about phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca क्या है? It's the second largest phylum. You have to remember, second largest phylum from NEET point of view, very important. And basically in this phylum, very soft bodied. इनकी जो body होती है ना, ये portion ना बहुत soft होता है. It's very soft. Even in octopus also, these are very soft bodied. Very soft bodied animals. Snail also you have seen, उसका जो नीचे का ये वाला लेयर ना बहुत soft होता है. It's very soft. Fine. Now we'll talk about general characteristics where they are found. Habit and habitat. Habit and habitat में क्या है? They are on all habitats. हर जगह पाए जाते हैं. Like water में भी पाए जाते हैं and land में भी. They exist in both the forms. Like in aquatic and also in land. Like see. डेजर्ट हो गया, ओसेन्स हो गया, लैंड हो गया. सो दे आर बोथ एक्वाटिक एंड मराइन. वेरी सिंपल. फाइन. नेक्स्ट इज बॉडी फॉर्म. सी इन केस ऑफ स्नेल they have unsegmented body. The body can't be segmented. They have unsegmented body. Most of the forms are unsegmented, but I always tell you there is an exception. Fine. The exception is Neopilina. Neopilina is the only mollusk that is segmented. Fine. You have to remember this from NEET point of view because question always comes from exception. जनरल क्वेश्चन तो वैसे भी नीट में नहीं आएगा. नीट में अगर जनरल क्वेश्चन आएगा तो सभी बच्चे नीट निकाल लेंगे, है कि नहीं. क्वेश्चंस वहीं से आएंगे जहाँ बच्चा पकड़ नहीं पाता है कि यहाँ से क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. न्यूपिलिना से क्या क्वेश्चन आएगा? क्वेश्चन किसी भी तरीके से आ सकता है. मैच द फॉलोइंग आ सकता है, एसोशियल रीजन आ सकता है. Any questions might come in the exam. So don't skip because your exam is very near. You have to just revise and I'm making my notes in such a way that you just revise and go to your exam hall. Fine. So that you can't miss any topic. So Neopilina is the only mollusk with what? Which is segmented. And this is the connecting link between Annelida and Mollusca. This is also very important because question बहुत बार इसे क्वेश्चन आ चुके हैं. So I want you to remember that Neopilina is the connecting link between Annelida and Mollusca. तो यहाँ से आपने क्या क्या पढ़ा? सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट फाइलम. फाइन. वेयर दे आर फाउंड. हैबिट एंड हैबिटेट. कहाँ पाए जाते हैं? बोथ एक्वाटिक एंड टेरेस्ट्रियल. बॉडी फॉर्म कैसा होता है? अनसेगमेंटेड होते हैं. दे आर अनसेगमेंटेड बट देर इज ऑलवेज एन एक्सेप्शन. न्यूपिलिना इज द मोलस्क विच इज segmented and that is the connecting link between Annelida and Mollusca. Fine. And they are soft bodied animals. This is also included in characteristics. So now we'll see the next point. So now we'll see about bilateral symmetry, the body symmetry in case of mollusk. Body symmetry basically is bilateral symmetry. Now we are studying about advanced form of organisms. So from now onwards there will be bilateral symmetry only. But there might be some exception in some phylum which I'll mention it. Fine. at the time itself. See, but exception is that pila. Pila and also snail. So they don't have bilateral symmetrical body. What they have, their body is asymmetric. And why? Due to the torsion. Torsion मतलब क्या होता है? Twisting. Torsion means it's twisting. TWISTING. क्या होता है कि जब उनकी ग्रोथ होती है तो बॉडी ट्विस्ट हो जाती है, एंड दैट्स द रीजन ओनली देयर बॉडी इज asymmetrical. Fine. Exception, remember from NEET point of view, always tells you pila, remember. Fine. Next is level of organization. So we organ system level of organization, just like in previous phylum, it's organ system level of organization. Fine. Next is coelom. Coelom is true coelom. Their body, that is in case of mollusk, they have true coelom, that is acoelomate. Acoelomate means true coelom. See, remember this, it's acoelomate, means true coelom is present. Next is body parts. They have their body part is divided into three parts. One is head, visceral hump and muscular foot. These three parts are there, and I'll just give you the details. What are the parts present in head, visceral hump and muscular foot, and what are their functions? I'll discuss in details. Fine. So three parts are there: head, visceral hump and muscular foot. So now we will see these three parts, the importance and the functions of this part. Fine. So now we'll discuss about the body parts. Like I told you, body parts में three parts होते हैं. See, anterior head, visceral hump and muscular foot. And this is the functions of three. पहला head में क्या होता है? Mouth and sense organs. All the sense organs are included there. Next is visceral hump पे क्या होता है? Digestive tract and some visceral organs are there. Fine. Next, muscular foot में क्या होता है? Locomotory organs. They helps in the locomotion. Fine. Next is what is mantle. What is mantle is a very important characteristic feature of mollusk. You have to remember from NEET point of view. Mantle क्या होता है? Soft and spongy like tissue होता है. Spongy layer of skin. कहाँ form होता है वो? Visceral hump पे. It forms on the as a layer in over the visceral hump. Fine. This is the characteristic feature of mollusk. You have to remember from NEET point of view. And this mantle, you know, has very important function. They provide three functions. First what they'll do now, they'll cover the anterior part of the head and act as the protective hood over the head. Next they secrete a calcareous shell over the body. Fine. And you know, I'll just see, exception is that calcareous shell क्या होता है ना, हमने snail में दिखाया था ना कि suppose this is the snail, ये जो ऊपर का जो layer था, this is calcareous shell, a very hard layer. But in octopus जो है, like I have shown you here, in octopus this calcareous cell is absent, and this calcareous cell is also known as exoskeleton. I'm writing here, exoskeleton. Fine. That calcareous cell is known as exoskeleton. If this term comes, you might not confuse with the calcareous cell. Fine. Exception is octopus. Octopus doesn't have that calcareous cell. They are very soft bodied animals. Fine. Next is the mantle cavity. That mantle cavity helps in respiration as well as excretion. Three functions are there. Very easy to remember. पहला क्या होता है? प्रोटेक्ट करता है एंटीरियर हेड को. दूसरा क्या करता है? दूसरा ये करता है कैल्केरियस सेल सिक्रेट्स करता है ओवर द बॉडी. तीसरा क्या करता है? रेस्पिरेशन एंड एक्सक्रीशन में हेल्प करता है. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड वेरी easy to remember. Just revise my notes. I'm explaining it very easily. Each and every term I'll make you understand. Fine. So now let's see next. So now we'll see about the germ layers which are present in case of mollusk, and we'll see about digestive system, respiratory structure. Fine. तो germ layers क्या होता है? They are triploblastic animals. They are advanced form में जा रहे हैं. So they are triploblastic means they contain three germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. Fine. Next is digestive system is complete means mouth is there, anus is present. Both mouth and anus is present. Mouth for ingestion and anus for egestion. Fine. Digestion is always extracellular in case of mollusk. See, their mouth contains, in case of mollusk, their mouth contains a rasping organ. Rasping means feeding. Rasping का मतलब होता है feeding organs होता है. उस पर क्या present होता है? Radula. Very important from NEET point of view. Radula is present and with transverse rows होता है. Transverse होता है. ऐसे होता है, फिर ऐसे होता है, ऐसे होता है, फिर ऐसे होता है. Transverse होता है. Transverse rows of काइटिनस टीथ खाने के लिए, ठीक है। और रेडुला का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, देयर रिबन लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, देयर रिबन, पतले पतले रिबन होते हैं ना, उस तरह का रिबन लाइक स्ट्रक्चर है दैट आर प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द माउथ इन केस ऑफ मोलस्क। फाइन, so this is about digestive system. We'll talk about respiratory system. See, if those mollusks which are present in aquatic forms, so their respiratory structure will be gills, and those who are present in terrestrial form, that is in land, their respiratory structure will be lungs. Like we have lungs because we are terrestrial, we stay on land, we won't stay in water. Fine. So this is about digestive system, respiratory system, germ layers. Fine. So we'll see next points related to, or next characteristics we can say related to mollusk. So we'll now talk about circulatory system. In case of mollusk, they have open circulatory system. Fine. They don't have closed circulatory system. Blood is pumped by the heart. First it will passes through the large vessels into open spaces or body cavities called as sinuses. What is called body cavity is known as sinuses. In this form the circulation takes place in case of mollusk. What is the respiratory pigment is hemocyanin. Hemocyanin is copper containing blue color. The pigment is blue color. Fine. So they have blue color red pigment. This is blue color pigment in case of mollusk, hemocyanin. Fine. But there is always an exception. Now we'll see about circulatory system. Circulatory system is open in case of mollusk. Fine. So what happens here is that first blood will be pumped by the heart. It passes through the large vessels, and where it will go into open spaces, क्योंकि vessels है नहीं, closed में क्या होता है, blood will flow into the vessels, but open है तो vessels में open space में जाएगा blood, ठीक है ना। और body cavities called as sinuses. And what is the respiratory pigment? Hemocyanin. So remember this from NEET point of view. Hemocyanin is a respiratory pigment that is present in case of mollusk, that is copper containing blue color. Fine. There is always an exception. Cephalopods. Cephalopods have closed circulatory system. That means the blood passed into the blood vessels. Fine. They don't have open circulatory system. Next is excretory system. Excretion is by organ of Bajanus and Cabers organ. Remember this from NEET point of view. These two have two mode of excretion, that is organ of Bajanus and Cabers organ. Fine. And the excretory matter is ammonia. So they are known as ammonotelic organisms. Those who excrete ammonia, they are known as ammonotelic organisms. Fine. So this was all about circulatory system and excretory system. These two I have discussed. Now we'll see some more important characteristics of mollusk. So now let's talk about nervous system. What nervous system consists of three paired ganglia. Fine. So this cerebral above the mouth, pedal in the foot, and visceral in the visceral mass. These three are present in case of nervous system in case of mollusk. And also remember from NEET point of view, octopus has highly developed brain. They have a very highly developed brain. Fine. The sense organs includes eyes and stetosis. Stetosis क्या होता है? It is used for equilibrium. Stetosis is used for equilibrium. And also one organ is present, osphrdia. Osphrdia is help in tasting chemical and physical nature of water. Fine. So osphrdia हो गया, stetosis हो गया, eyes हो गया, sense organs remember, nervous system क्या क्या होता है वो remember करेगा. Next is osphrdia क्या होता है? It's very important. This question always comes in NEET. Osphrdia and stetocyst. These two terminology is new for you. So remember osphrdia and stetocyst both in case of mollusk. Fine. So this was all about nervous system. So now we'll see about the reproductive system in case of mollusk. Mollusks are usually dioecious. That means male and female organs are separate. Male and female both are separate. Fine. Separate. उसको क्या कहते हैं? Dioecious. Male and female are separate. Example is loligo, octopus, etc. They have both the parts, that is male and female organs, separate. Next, exception is there. Aplysia, doris, they are monoecious. That means their male and female body parts are in same organ, in the same body itself. Basically, mollusks are usually oviparous. Oviparous means egg laying animals. They don't give birth to the young ones. They lay their eggs, and from their eggs the young ones come out. Fine. Next is fertilization. Fertilization is both external and internal. Fine. Usually, maximum chances are there that internal fertilization takes place in case of mollusk. Both fertilizers do exist here, but only maximum chances are there for internal fertilization. Fine. Development may be direct or indirect. Both the developments are there, direct or indirect. Example, larva. Remember from NEET point of view, Trochophore larva, Glochidium and Valiger. Trochophore, Glochidium and Valiger. These three larvas are present. Larval stages are present in case of mollusk. Fine. So now this was about mollusk. We'll discuss about unique features which we have studied in case of mollusk, so that last moment of revision you can just see and go through for your exam. Fine. So we'll see unique features and then some examples of mollusks. So what we have discussed in Mollusca, this is the unique features. Last minute revision for those who are preparing for NEET 2020. Fine. 3 body regions: head, visceral, hump and muscular foot. I have already discussed. You just, if you are going for the exam, just revise these points and go to the exam hall. Next is a soft and spongy layer of skin called mantle. I have told you about mantle. कहाँ पे होता है? Visceral hump पे ना, visceral hump. Fine. Next is calcareous shell around the body, and fourth is rasping organ called radula, but it is present in buccal cavity. Fine. So these 4 points is very important in case of mollusk. This is the overview of mollusk what we have discussed. In short, I have given you these notes, so that if you're going for the exam, just revise the notes and go. And these are the important examples. Mussels, oysters is Indian pearl oyster. Next is snails, slugs, squids, cuttlefish. Giant squid is the largest invertebrate. You just remember this from NEET point of view. Example is very important. Remember from the mollusk. So this was all about the mollusk. I have discussed all the important characteristics of mollusk. So with this I conclude my class today, and next class I'll teach you phylum Arthropoda. So thank you so much.